Can we start now, sir? Assalamualaikum and good evening to Sir Zahrin and our fellow friends. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. Today we will discuss about an interesting topic, which is the benefit of tourism industry to our country. My name is Siti Aisyah binti Abdul Jalil and I am your moderator for today. Allow me to introduce our incredible lineup of presenter for today. For panel 1, we have Dr. Izzatul Amalin as a Minister of Tourism.
Hello, my name is Dr. Nuriza Tamalin. I am the Minister of Tourism. I'm so glad to be here. I hope the audience can learn some knowledge from the webinar today. Thank you.
For panel 2, we have Rafiah Kafidah that works as a tour guide in Terengganu.
My name is Rafiah Kafidah binti Rizwan and I work as tourist guide and I work for 4 years at Sarawak.
After that, we have Nurul Faisa that works as a tourist agent. For panel 3.
My name is Nur Faisa binti Muta and I am tourism agent and I have experience in this work 6 years and I am so glad to be here today. Thank you.
Last but not least, our last presenter is Maizatul Najwa that Maizatul Najwa as a tourist itself.
Hi, I'm Maizatul Najwa as a tourist. I already have experience traveling alone for 2 years. I have traveled to several countries such as Florence, Sweden, Australia, and more. I am so glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you for our panelists. Back to our topic. As we know, tourism is vital for the success of many economies around the world. Tourism industry also playing a big role in order to help the country from different aspects, which is economies, creating thousands of jobs, develop the infrastructure of the country, and also plants a sense of cultural exchange between foreigner and citizen. So after this, our panelists will talk about this topic in their own perspective. Just a little housekeeping before we get started. If you have any question during the session, you can put it in the comment section. I will bring them up to the panelists. Now, without wasting any more time, I would like to invite our first panelist for today, which is Dr. Izzatul Amalin, to present her opinion for today's topic.
Okay, today I'm going to point out 3 objectives of the Ministry of Tourism. As we know, tourism brings a lot of benefit to our country. First objective is to strengthen the tourism and culture sector towards empowering the national economy, to develop the knowledgeable, skilled and innovative human capital in the tourism and culture sector. The next thing is to develop and promote domestic tourism. Today I'm going to show you a statistic about total tourist arrivals by March. Can we move to the statistic?
Sorry.
As we can see, total tourist arrivals in 2020 has dropped to 4.33 million compared to 2019 with 26.0 million. The total of tourists has dropped because our country has been affected by the pandemic of COVID-19. The effect of COVID-19 caused tourism sector to record a total loss about 100 million. So government made a move to secure the tourism sector. The Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture, or has been called as MOTAC, announced a tourism and culture recovery plan to enable country's economy to recover quickly due to COVID-19 outbreak. To ensure safety, the reopening of the domestic tourism sector also involves a number of prohibit and permit items provided to comply with SOP. The government has suggested people to do some ecotourism. Ecotourism is a holiday that includes aspects of environmental conservation and respect for the culture of the local, which is a form of nature tourism to enjoy the beauty of nature. The International Ecotourism Association defines ecotourism as responsible travel to nature areas that preserve the environment, maintain the well-being of local people, and involve interpretation and education. As the Minister of Tourism, I am very confident that tourism activities can help the country in all aspects, and it is proven by the data that I have presented just now. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you for the great explanation, Dr. Izatul. Now we will be hearing from another panelist, which is Rafia Kafida, that work as a tourist guide. From what is your point of view about the benefit of tourism to our country?
Thank you to moderator and good evening everyone. As a tourist guide, there is a lot of benefit of tourism in Malaysia. For example, tourists can learn about potential of cultural and heritage tourism in Malaysia. Coupled with Malaysia's tremendous growth in tourism, cultural or heritage is emerging in the categorical tourism subsector as a potential form of alternative tourism for both domestic travelers as well as international tourists. Malaysia is a big country that rich in cultural tourism resources that has over the years been abundant, but they have finally have uh, realized through corporate effort of the shareholder and the stakeholder in the industry. Example of impressive cultural tourism resources available in Malaysia are the existence of historical buildings, colorful lifestyle, multicultural and friendly atmosphere. Given this aspect, governmental involvement, promotion as well as related strategies and policies that will support the growth more than what is currently accessible will boost the tourism sector further. Heritage tourism could be a subtype of cultural tourism. These two classes of tourism have become a growing segment of the tourism marketplace in Malaysia. This aspect has appeared to have been highly motivated for different reasons that traditional tourism. The culture and heritage have become the main attention for tourists. Malaysia does not contain a unitary culture, but it could be perceived to be diverse in reality because of the racial differences. Malaysia is of made up of three nationalities such as Malays, Chinese, and Indians. Malaysia is also known for its distinctive multicultural architecture with strong Islamic, Chinese, Indians, and Western influences, which have been portrayed in the heritage buildings. These buildings have contributed their quota to the success of the tourism industry major role no, industry in Malaysia, whereby the unique colonial architectural style of building is playing a major role in the creation of historic states and cities such as Ipoh, Kuala Lumpur, Kuching, Georgetown, and Taipei. In order to sustain this building and to make them worth much good by neglecting this negative impact of the past into revenue for the financial income that will boost the economy of the country. Report shows that this motion was carried out to strengthen these ministries but might have an impact on the focus of cultural and heritage tourism in near future. Like Asian neighbors, but like Asian neighbors, Malaysia to regard tourism as a very important sector that bring the much needed foreign exchange, new jobs and businesses. The impact of tourism in the country benefit all sector of an economy is the benefit from all these sector can also still be used sustaining in development practice of the host nation. That's all from me. Back to moderator and thank you.
Wow, a lot of good point that we can take from here. We will continue our program with panel 3, Maizatun Najwa, who has experience in traveling to another country. She will share her point based on her experience.
Thank you, moderator, for the question. As a tourist, my opinion, benefit of tourism industry to a country as a tourist is able to strengthen the relationship between tourists and the local community. When you travel to a country that has no friend or family in this country, uh, it's provide an opportunity by finding new friends in the country. Like me, I like to travel alone because traveling alone makes me an independent person. So when I travel alone, I will try to be friendly to create the local community. It's because we will get more new friends in different countries. Why do we have to establish a relationship with a friend from the other country? Because one day if we have a misfortune while traveling in their countries, so the other one will help us. So we as a tourist should to establish friendship with the local community. Other than that, the tourism industry can also show the civilization of a country to tourists. Tourists will learn and know about the history that is it behind the interesting buildings and site of the country. The uh, example, tourists who come to Malaysia, they like to visit Kota Melaka because it is one of the historical sites in Malaysia, such as tourists can also visit Kota Formosa, Malacca Monument, Malacca Museum, and more. So, like me, I'm going to the travel not just on holiday, but at the same time, I want to knowledge about history of the country. In addition, tourists can also tourists can also learn about the human culture and custom from around the world by observing the activities and marine of origin countries, with a broad knowledge of history and culture. A person will become more mature and open-minded as they are exposed to something foreign that they are usual life. As the famous saying goes, substitute knowledge up to China. So last word, I want to I want to invite you to go traveling because we get a lot of benefit when we go to traveling. That's what's my point. That's what's my point. That's all for me. Back to moderator. Thank you.
Thank you, panelist 3, which is Maizatun Najwa, that willingly sharing her point today. Let's move on to another panel, Nur Faisa, a that work in the tourism industry as a tourism agent. What do you think about people saying that tourism bring a lot of benefit to the country? Faisa, your mic.
Sorry. Thank you, moderator. Assalamualaikum and good evening. As a travel agent who has long worked as a Malaysian tourism agent, I agree that the tourism industry bring a lot of benefit to the country. Let me start that the benefit of tourism industry in our country is to develop business in the and create wider employment opportunities for the community. the benefit of the tourism industry for our country can help expand business in the country that can give a lot of benefit to the tourism industry. In this case, the tourists that come here will need accommodation, food, and clothing will travel to the country. Travel agency will help tourists by recommending accommodation options such as hotel resort that are rated 5 star according to the package. It is important to bring tourists to get to know a place by staying in the area, learning about the food and the uniqueness of place. This is can directly help in advancing the business of the clothing, food, and others. Therefore, the uniqueness of the country become the main attraction of tourists to enter the country. For example, the tourists who come solely to test the food in the country. What I see is our country has many accommodation centers that become the focus to tourists of tourism. Therefore, the community can make the area as a tourist center and will have to have the opportunity for the venture into business. The second benefit of tourism industry is that it open wider employment opportunities. The rapid development in the tourism industry will bring more accommodation area, restaurant, tourist service, and so on, so as to correct a vast dumping of jobs to the community. For example, it can give employment opportunities to them as boat drive, tour guide, and so on. Thriving tourism industry requires a large workforce as a tourism agent. The sector is able to benefit the community by providing a wide range of employment opportunities. Therefore, the effect can reduce the unemployment rate in the country. That's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Nafaisa, for your great explanation about this topic. Last but not least, we're going to move on to another session, which is Q&A session. From the comment section, I can see that there are two questions. There are two questions. Question 1: what are the risks of tourism industry? Panelists, what do you think about this question?
I think there is some type in risk of tourism. For example, the type is health. The possibility of becoming sick while traveling or at the destination. As we know, the world has been facing a pandemic of COVID-19. So if you travel without awareness, you might be the one who affected and might spread it to others. The next is personal risk. For example, there is an individual travel such as poor health, crime, causing conflict with local residents, visiting dangerous places, loss of money and use documents. The next is physical risk from the environment. You might visit to dangerous areas, exposing to dangers during natural disaster and also epidemics. That's all from me.
Thank you, Dr. Izatul Amalin, for your great explanation. For the second question, what is the strength of Malaysia as tourism destination? Rafia Kafida, can you answer this question?
Yeah. Question number 3.
Number 2.
Number 2. Okay. Tourism can help the Malaysian economy. This is because every tourist who come to Malaysia will book a hotel. In addition, they will also hire a tour guide for their help to guiding them in Malaysia. By doing so, it will indirectly help the country's economy. That's all.
Sorry for the miscommunication before. It's actually how does tourism help Malaysia for the question. Right, for the question 3, what is the strength of Malaysia as tourism destination?
Okay. Mm, okay. My opinion, strength of tourism industry in Malaysia is their outstanding natural beauty that you can see in Malaysia. The outstanding natural beauty that can be seen consists of Malaysian tropical rainforest, natural and man-made lake, outstanding island and beach. So never to forget, Malaysia is a multicultural country which make Malaysia is very unique country. This is my opinion.
Thank you for your great explanation. From this, I can conclude that tourism industry does bring a lot of benefit to our country. Finally, we has come to the end of our webinar. I would like to thank our panelists today and to the audience for your active participation. Hopefully, our webinar today will give new info and knowledge to everyone. Thank you. Thank you for joining.
Okay, thank you so much for